right, good morning. We got a little Sunday morning action going on here. So we started this video in progress 5.5 hours ago, and now we're on the second day. So Sunday morning, 9:45. So let's see what we accomplished in 5.5 hours. Well, this took literally me 2.5 hours to get that strut out. All because when Toyota built the strut, here's the strut housing, right? Strut housing sits like this. They did it on a triangle. So the triangle sits, let's say it sits like this. Let's say it sits like that. Two in the front, one in the back. This one in the back would not turn. So finally, once I got it to turn a little, I could only turn it by putting 2 wrenches together and having that kind of leverage to loosen it. Once I get enough space underneath it, I took a hacksaw blade and I started slicing the studs, right? So I started slicing the stud, and I broke my 14 ratchet here from S&K. I broke this one, and I broke this one trying to loosen it up, and then this was my savior. But here you can see finally the stud broke off, and it's still stuck in my in my wrench. And looking at the way it broke, I don't know how much I actually cut, to be honest with you. So yesterday after I cleaned up, I went and bought some blades in case I have the same issue. But what I did is, let me go and show you. We're at the recycle pile. Here is the front strut. I cut the spring, and I cut the spring, and I cut the spring, and then I broke the head off the top of the strut. And then in order to get the bottom out, I cut the bottom of the shock to get it out. And shocks that are going in aren't the ones with the sensor. So the ones with the sensor have these dopey brackets like this on it that you can't get off. So I started slicing that. So I used the Sawzall and I started slicing that. So that was the only way I got that out. Now I did the rear. This is a rear shock. I did the rear shocks in the car. And when I do the driver's side, I'll do a little video on that. But look at this stud that was sitting in the rubber, how worn out it is. And it twisted and broke. And this is something with like load leveling, but they're not putting that back in. They're putting in just stock shocks. You know, the thing's got how many miles on it, and it's 20 years old. All right, let's get to the video. Let's get to the action. And for everybody that watched the video, thanks, appreciate it. But it's not looking too bad. It needs a good washing again, but it looks good. It's a good look. We're 10 feet away. That looks good. It looks almost black, but from what it was in May to what it is now, it looks good. The guy did a decent job on the quarter panel, and the used front parts. Everything on the front's used: door, fender, bumper, hood. Headlights are used, but some guy took them off in 2011, so he put aftermarkets in. So they've never really been used. Now I'm just waiting on those bottom pieces for the thing. We'll have another video on that guy once I get some more parts. All right, let's get back to Lexus, because that's why you're here. All right, so before I can reassemble, I had to purchase new lower Home Depot. Sorry, Pontiac. Had to buy new bolts. So these are 1/2-inch grade 8s. I got a nut, a washer. I just didn't buy yellow zinc bolts for the nuts. So we got yellow zinc for everything else. And then, so here's the original bolt that came out. And if you can see the the tread on it right there, you can see how damaged it got coming out. So don't know if it's a grade 8 bolt. I'm probably sure it's a grade 5 or grade 8, but I'm putting in a better quality bolt. And for the $19 that this costs, $19 for 2 bolts, 2 washers, 2 nuts. I remember going to the store when I was young and I would pay $2.50 for that. All right, this will be on the next video for Pontiac, but let's not spoil the surprise. All right, so let's get this guy is still sealed. This guy is open. Let's get these 2 guys. We'll leave this here so I know where it is. This is gonna go into recycle. Okay, let's just put it over here for the time being. Let's get the chair over here. And we're gonna put the front suspension piece in. Ow, my back hurts today. Oh, this car killing me. But we gotta change this guy first. So this guy first is gonna get changed. Strut is gonna go in. And she said it needs an axle, but on this side, the axle looks pretty good. I mean, the axle looks all right. So I'm gonna double check the other side first to make sure it's that side before we put it in, because on this Toyota, and this Toyota here, the axles are both the same. So if you're gonna replace your axles, they're both the same axle, left or right. All right, so I cleaned up the paint a little and scraped it up with a wire brush and gave it a little spray to make it a little better. All right, so let's get to work. I've been talking too much. All right, so this quick little video is gonna be sway bar end links on a Toyota chassis, Lexus chassis, 4-wheel drive. And as you can see, there is a left and a right because they had to make it 90 degrees. One goes that way, one goes this way. They couldn't just make it simple. All right, so this one side with the longer bolt will go through your spindle, and the shorter bolt will go through your sway bar end link. Now, when you remove your part, that part there, that is a 17mm nut. When you install your aftermarket part, they decided to make it a 19mm nut. So now what we'll do is we'll go get a socket, Allen socket to fit in here, and we'll go get a ratcheting 19, and we'll tighten up this guy like this. But first I'm going to install my strut. So next time, I don't even know if I have that kind of quality editing and video. All right, I'm going to install my strut. I'm going to take a video on that, and then I will continue on this. But if you want to see a whole video of all the front end being replaced, I'm going to drop one of them as well. All right, let me come back. Okay, I'm on the driver's side. Remember, we're still on the passenger side. Fortunately, in order for me to get the strut in, I got to take this link off here, and I got to take this guy off here, and I got to let this guy swing down so I can get my strut in on the other side. But if you're just doing sway bar end links, you don't have to worry about that. But if you are like me and we're changing, see here, you can see this car needs an axle on this side. The axle is boot is shot there. You can see all the grease all over all the grease right there. This car needs inner socket boots on the other side, and it needs these guys, because if I'm taking this apart, I'm putting new ones in. I'm not getting blamed for sway bar end link noise. Oh, you took the sway bar end link apart. Now it's making noise. Yeah, because your truck's 20 years old and you need a new part. So guess what? Cough up the $40 aside at Advance and call it a day. All right, so we are going to take this guy off. We are going, actually, you know what? I'm going to take the whole thing off here, and then I will reassemble on that side. So actually, you guys lucked out, because you know what? I have to take this apart. So I got this one already loose. It's a 17mm. I'm going to be able to take it off with the gun, but I still have to get this guy loose there. So let me loosen up the nut on the inside. I'll probably have to put a vice grip on it right here to hold it. And this is becoming a longer video than I was thinking. Okay, so I got my vice grip holding the outer part. I got a 17 socket and ratchet after I broke it loose with a wrench. And now I am loosening the bolts. You can see it's becoming loose now. Okay, and there you can see the threads. And now that side is off. And now I'll switch my vice grip to this side. Needle nose is much better than the open one, but I can't find my needle nose. This side, I'm going to cheat, and this will be one of the rare times you'll see a gun in my hands. Make sure you put it on loose. No guns in my hands. Usually all hand tools. And that's it. And put that down. Okay. Pop this guy off. I need 2 hands to pop that off. Okay, so out and out. And there you go. You have a removed sway bar end link. Tall side goes in the, I don't know what the hell they call that, spindle? Yeah, let's call that a spindle. Spindle gets the longer bolt, sway bar gets the shorter bolt. There is a left and there is a right, so make sure you pay attention on that. So now the next thing we got to do is reinstall, but I have to remove this guy in order to get that little sway bar guy to drop down a little more. And the boot, this axle is getting changed, so this boot doesn't matter. The other side matters. Let's go back to the other side first. All right. So we got a 15-minute break. The mayor came by. He's going to be leaving. He's not a millionaire, but he knows everything to know about the town. Good guy. All right. So now that I got the sway bar out of the way because I couldn't put the strut in. This is what you have to do to put a strut in a fucking GX, whatever this 470 fucking thing is. All right, let's get that guy in to that spot. Get the bolt in, get that nut in, and then we gotta take the other side apart because I can't put the sway bar back in. So I would call her and tell her she needs that boot, but not my job. Well, it's for future Kevin. This is present Kevin. Let's just do present Kevin at the time. And then we got to do brakes. So once I button this side up, we'll do the brakes on this side. We'll clean up the caliper. Look at that. You think she got enough wear out of the brake pads? All right. And that's why the rims are black. That's why the rims are black, because she just got every inch of life out of that brake pad. Amazing. All right, stop talking, Kevin. Start working. And we are at 11:15, so we started at 9:45. So let's say we started at 10, so we got an hour in, so we're 6.5 hours in. All right, so the 3 bolts are in, okay, and they're tight, and they got those nuts on them that have like little crimps in them, so they don't loosen up, but that looks nice. So now the hardest part will be getting the spindle here and that guy together. I might have to use ratchet straps or something, but let's see what happens. I can put this together and that together, and I can put that together with that together, but I cannot put the sway bar back in. So, which is okay, because the sway bar can be put in after. That's not a problem. All right, so we're getting progress. All right, so our spindle assembly is back, married to the upper control arm. Our strut is in, married to the lower control arm. My grade 8 bolt is in. Now I just gotta tighten it up. On this new one, you should widen the bottom perch so that the strut sits in better. And I put the bolt going from front to back, where the bolt on the factory went from back to front. But honestly, it doesn't matter. And once this is in the correct ride height, I will tighten the bottom bolt, so this way it doesn't put any pressure on the the rubber. We don't want to rip the rubber, you know. And then this has got tightened there. The one back there got tightened. The 3 up top have been tightened. And now we will do her brakes. So servicing the Lexus. If you just joined in, we did the backs earlier. I never filmed the backs on this side, but I will film it on the other side. So we cleaned up the frame. I took the sway bar down to get enough room to get the strut in, and now I have to put the tie rod link back into the spindle and put that in there. But before I do that, the factory, all they did was zip tie this little ABS line to this bracket, so I got to put a new zip tie back on. So let me do that. All right, so I got a before picture, and I cleaned up the caliper with the wire brush, and it's 2 17mm bolts. As you see, I got the gun there because I couldn't do it by hand to loosen up the caliper mounting bracket bolts. So once they're off, but first I'm gonna compress this, because here, this is the problem. This guy is good, this guy is bad. So it's either A, she's got a caliper problem, B, if it was a hose problem, I think it would have wiped out both of them, because then it means they would both stay on. Or C, I don't know. So I think I'm just gonna go with C, I don't know, since I don't know everything. Let me ask my wife, she'll tell me the question. All right, so I'm gonna go with a new answer, that these 2 pistons are frozen and they were leaving pressure on the outer pad to wear the outer pad. Now you think with these being frozen, they would have worn down that brake caliper much more, but they didn't. Okay, so I had to literally pry bar these 2 guys in, and these 2 guys, they went in like butter. So these guys fought me like a lion fights a tiger. All right, so now what we got to do is we got to pull these pins out, pull this bad rotor off, put the rotor on, put this back on, put new brake pads in it, and tell the person they need a caliper. That caliper's bad. All right, so I got the pads in, caliper back on, new rotors in, and I pumped it up a little, and I still have a loose rotor. So I won't know until I put the wheel on and do a grab and release when someone gets home to help me. But let's go over to the driver's side, and now we know exactly what we got to do to take apart to do the driver's side strut. We got to take the sway bar out, which we already did. We got to loosen that tie rod, which we have to do. We have to unbolt that spindle, and we have to take off the ABS lines from the top so we have enough slack. All right, so let's get over to the other side, and I will say that this side is pretty close to complete once we put the sway bar back in. All right, so where did we leave off before? I took the caliper off, I removed it. Unfortunately, the bolt over here broke. First bolt to break, which is good, but unfortunately, I'll just zip tie the shit out of that. Okay, so next we have the 3 bolts on top here and the 1 bolt on there, and that's how we get the strut out. So this is the axle that's bad. You can see the boot right there. I was trying to manipulate this cap to come off, so I'm thinking that this cap has to come off. There's a nut behind it. I'll probably have to unbolt the hub bearing, and then I'll be able to pull the axle out. We'll see. I never did a Toyota. I mean, I know it has to come out. I don't want to take the spindle out, but I mean, if I take the spindle off, I gotta take the spindle off. What are you gonna do? Shit happens. So let's get this accomplished and then we'll be good. I will probably put the sway bar back up, but we'll see, because this way I have to hold that up to put those 4 bolts in. Use a lot of energy for that, but this might be energy here, so I might have to unbolt the ABS wire to the spindle if I'm going to take this off. But I really don't want to take the bottom ball joint off, to be honest with you. Well, let's cross that bridge when we get there. It's getting there. So we are on the 3rd leg of the repair. We still got to put the sway bar and link on the other side once the sway bar goes back in. All right, so my strut is out, but my strut top is not out. So I cut 2 of the nuts off. Oh, that don't sound good, did it? All right, I removed 2 of the bolts by sawing them off, and I sawzalled the shock out, and I got the last bolt to take off so I can get the last part of the shock hat out for the strut. And that was the one that took me a ridiculous amount of time until the stud actually snapped. So I've been doing little things besides that. Now I was working on the axle part to see if I can be able to get this axle out, which shouldn't be an issue once I get this nut off. But slowly but surely. And since these are struts that you can adjust the height on, once you start cutting them, they leak fluid, so I had to wipe up all this fluid that was down here. All right, let's get back. Okay, axle is in. It's fairly just a simple tap out, tap in. I finally got my top of my strut out. Look at this. So the top of the strut, I sawzalled these 2 guys. The hardest one in the back actually came out, which is amazing. But you see the rust here? So this was welded to the frame. This is supposed to be on the bottom under here, and then this piece is supposed to be connected to the shaft between the bushings like that. And then this is the bottom of the strut. I cut to give myself more room. So that is the new strut going in, and that is the old axle. Now Toyota uses the same axle left or right for the truck. Driver side or passenger side is both the same axle on this chassis. All right, so let's put a little grease on that hat for the next guy, which there should never be another next guy, to be honest with you, with all the mileage that's on this truck. And let's reassemble the what do you call it? And let's see, I heard the owner's gonna come over, so let's see if she comes over in her normal attire. It'll be a little treat. So let me get this going. She went to Walmart for me because she needs an oil change. Whoever she takes this truck to doesn't change the oil correctly, because that skid plate there, those bolts, 3 of them were broken, 1 of them was good, and 1 was a self-tapper that hadn't been loosened up in a long time. So no one's changed the filter in this truck in a long time. So I gotta be careful when you go to these Jiffy Lube places. It's not Jiffy Lube, but it's another place. All right, let's get this strut in and let's get this together. All right, so we're back on the passenger side now. And I bolted the 2 bolts on the front of the sway bar in, and I got the link in. All right, so I gotta tighten the links up. Now I gotta go install the driver's side. So we are getting almost done with the front, and we are almost 6 hours in today, 6 and 5. So I got 11 hours into this job so far. And here's the other side, and I'm gonna take this out and put it in the bottom and then put it in there. Let's do it with 2 hands. All right, so we're gonna pop on a new caliper, which is right here, and we're gonna put it right there. And sway bars are all in, front end is all in. Let's just finish up that side brakes first before we do this side. All right, so driver side is together. I gave it a little color, make it a little prettier. And now we're just gonna change the caliper on this side. So what I have to just do is before I forget, because that bolt broke, let's get a couple of zip ties on this bracket so it doesn't wiggle in the sun. So let's get a couple of zip ties. It's hard when you get distracted. Oh. That didn't come out too correctly. All right, let's get this on. I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, we're good. We're in. That looks good. All right. Oh, I wanted to type through that. Since there's no more sensor holding for the strut, we're just going to put the wire on top of the control arm. So let me get some more zip ties. Okay, so we're going to loosen up the line, pull the two 17mm bolts that hold the caliper on, and then we're going to pop this caliper into that spot. So let's get that done. And like that, it's in. So it did come with new hardware, but I reused the new clips and I reused that, and this is the same brake pads. So it's good. We got new clips. It looks good. Looks all good. So I'm gonna gravity bleed it. Oh, look at that! It's gravity bleeding already. How about that? Some shit, huh? So I'm gonna wait for the customer to come back. They went to Walmart for a minute, and then we're gonna bleed this out, and we'll see if we get a picture of the young beauty that owns this thing. All right, let's get cracking on the left driver's side rear. Since I never did a video on that side, I'll do some on that driver's side. So first things first is let's get this tire loose and get the jack stand underneath it. All right, so we got the shock out. We're gonna clean up this back section. So on these shocks, they have this sensor that's plugged to them, and it adjusts the riding height. So unfortunately, the replacement shocks are just regular shocks. Has nothing to do with the riding height, and has nothing to do with the stability control or whatever. So all I'm doing here is I'm just going to clean up. Oh, here she comes. Now I told her to pull her car in the driveway so she could just bring the oil over that way. All right, let me put it on pause for a minute until she gets here. Hold on. All right, so let's just give it a quick spray, and this is what I did on the other side before I put the shock in. So this pocket here gets a little rust in the area and makes it look much worse than it is. But if you just use this is just fast drying dough black, nothing fancy, right? It just helps the truck look a little younger than what it is. And if this one is driving it on the beach, well, then you want to have stuff like that. You know, you want to have extra protection, because protection is very important, especially when you're young. All right, so it's looking good and much better than what it was before. So let's go grab the shock, and then I'm going to install the shock, but I'll also have to throw the battery on the phone on charge, because I have zero battery left. I'm surprised it's actually still working, to be honest with you. So, but here, this is the kind of stuff that you need to clean out. These kind of things is what causes your car to rot away. Just build up the dirt and stuff here. Maybe some undercoat would be a good choice to do right there. Oh, all right. Let me come back. All right, so this is I think from CarQuest. I didn't buy the parts. I'm just installing them, but it looks like a pretty well made shock. Not my knees, but this guy right here. So let's get this thing installed. All right, so the bottom is just a single bolt held in by a 17mm nut, and the top has a rubber here, the rubber there, and then a nut there. A little difficult with the body like this. So last night I had dropped it a bunch of times. Thank God I didn't lose the nut. But today I'm going to try not to drop a nut. So let me get a little grease on the rubber, and this way it'll go in easier. Oh, you don't have to say anything. Okay, so we got special guest star, the owner. So you could give us a quick smile. You want to be the thumbnail? Yeah. Then we'll have like 1 million views. That sounds good. Okay. All right. Good. So we're servicing her brakes today. So we're gonna do this last corner. So we just bled out the front on the passenger side, and now push down again, Caitlin. All right. Hold down. Nice and tight. Let off. And it's loose. So that's good. So now that caliper's new, the other one works correctly, and we're gonna finish up the rear. Okay, let's get back to the back. All right, so we're all back in action in the back. So just nice and slow. I got my little helper.
I was going fast.
Yes, sorry. I would be going fast too. But, all right, number 374 here, Nicholas. So we'll keep going until it gets, till you feel the... Yeah, keep going. Pump up the brakes a couple of times till we get the caliper all the way tight. Keep going.
Feels pretty tight.
Yeah, well, it's not holding it down yet, so you can keep going. Like, probably need to do
faster, you think?
Yeah, well, not faster. You know, you want to go nice and slow, but you know, just normal brakes. Just pretend you're driving and hit the brakes a couple of times, and then we'll get this back brake to engage. So try just pushing it all the way to the floor.
Pretty sure I'm there.
Not yet. Keep going.
No?
Nope, not yet.
Ready?
Yeah. Pump it up like 10 times.
1, 2. I feel like I'm doing it, no?
Yeah, well, yeah, just... All right. Here, let me see.
You're not going slow.
Yeah, push it all the way down. Push it all the way down to the floor. There you go. Keep going. All right, now go back up and then do that like 10 times. Come all the way to the top and then push all the way down to the floor. That's getting there. All right. Okay. Let's just get a couple more of these things done. We'll get those. That feels good. Okay, so let's get the rims back on and we'll be almost done. And then we got to change the oil. All right, oil is changed. Oil is full. She went with 1030, so she got 1030. And now we got the brakes painted. This is done. We got 3 rims painted. I just got to do this last one. So let me paint these rims, put the phone on charge for an hour, and then we'll come back and do a wrap up. And that will be it for servicing the GX 470. Shocks, brakes all around, struts, sway bar end links, caliper, brake pads, rotors. All right, let me finish up the rims. All right, so we're gonna end this video with the rims all painted, new brakes in the back, shocks in the rear, axle, brakes, calipers painted, shocks, struts in the front, sway bar end links detailed. We cleaned the headlights. Car needs a wash, so we polished the headlights real quick. And then on this side we did a caliper, brake pads, rotor, strut, cleaned the frame like we showed earlier, and back here was shock and brakes and caliper painted, and that's it. So it needs 4 sneakers. It needs a light bulb for that, and we're done. All right, so let's get this video done. No moon out today. Crystal clear sky. All right, thanks for watching. And that is the end of the day. 11:15 used to be the start of the day, but now it's the end of the day. So let's go in the house and have something like that. Can you believe that this is 1976 clock and it still works? I changed the bulb in it, so it's blue, but it could put any bulb in it. All right, thanks for watching. Next video is going to be Mustang.